Hey, what's the deal, man? It's your boy Alex here, man. Obviously, if you clicked on this video, you wanted to hear what I had to say about sort of the number one problem with young guys like myself, as of this recording, that nobody is talking about, I haven't seen anywhere. And you're gonna hear that in this video. Now, you may agree, you may disagree, but I gotta be very blunt in this video. So, young men today, boys, whatever you want to call it, are very regressive. Now, what do I mean by regressive? I tried making this video a few months ago, maybe 3-4 months ago, and while I'm not dissatisfied with the way it came out, I thought I might remake it because I think I could present my case more clearly. So, right now, in 2024, in about a month it'll be 2025, we have a lot of these guys who, like they might get up and go to work, do their thing, they might see a friend, whatever. Holidays, they spend their day like any other person, right? They're not always depressed. They're not, they have all their fingers and toes. So, if you think this is a video about like mental illness, I'm sorry. This is just not that video. We tend to, look back at the days when we were young, when we were kids, and we tend to say, that era, that was the best time to be alive, right? How I'd give anything in the world to return, that sort of thing. I don't think that's healthy. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in this world, right, there's only one way out of your problems, and that's forward, never backwards, right? So if you've ever thought about the pandemic and sort of, wow, what we went through with that and how we got out of that, it seemed like we would never make it out. We didn't get out of the pandemic by moving backwards back into 2019. No, we moved forward into 2021, then 22, then 23, then 24, where we are now. And in like a month, it'll be 25. We actually moved forward. We progressed, not regressed. So many of us, right? It's like a nostalgia. And I'm going to make a video about that pretty soon, about why I think it's not a healthy thing, right? But, that's off topic. We need to stop being so regressive. We need to stop looking back at the past and start looking at today and into tomorrow. That is to say, it's one thing to have good memories. This is actually an analogy that I pointed out in that video I said I made about this topic, but then I have one unlisted now because I'm redoing this. It's one thing, there's no problem with, say, looking in the good old album book, at your family. But for as long as you remember that you can never go back, that is to say, it's one thing to have good memories and to be fond of those good memories. And the people you knew and being grateful that you met the people you did and also the media from the time, right? So the TV shows and the movies and also the video games and the books and the magazine, all that stuff, we talk about, the music, all of that culture. Fond memories is one thing. But to weep in your pillow at night because you can't accept the fact that insert year here is over, man, that's freaking silly. Why are we doing that? Instead of always looking back at the past and just, not being able to grasp the fact that people have sort of, like I said, progressed, have moved on, have evolved, we should actually start doing that, right? We should start evolving ourselves, learning new things, and embracing different ideologies, and meeting new people, and understanding them, and traveling to new places, whatever you want to, you know what I'm saying. We need to get out of our little bubbles. We need to experience the world more, and to listen to more people. You know, like we always, you'll hear this often. Oh yeah, man, like that era, the last few years before 2020, 2018 and 2019, those were so great. Maybe not in their personal lives, but the situation of the world. The years were so great, but what we often forget is that, and hear me out here. Just because there was no pandemic, COVID and all that, just because maybe further in the past you didn't have the sort of like massive divisions in our society that like you often hear about, you can believe in it or not, I don't know, but the stuff you hear about that and these wars or inflation, all this stuff, just because we maybe didn't have all of that, or not to the same extent as we do today, it doesn't mean things were all sunshine and rainbows. We need to stop, looking at the past. We need to start getting out of this fantasy that everything before 2020 was all perfect, because it wasn't. No part of the world is perfect. No time period is perfect. And we haven't learned that. We haven't accepted that. We haven't really come to a full understanding about that. I think a lot of us have, but not all of us. Some of us guys don't. And it's preventing us from moving forward, from evolving, progressing, whatever you want to call it. That's what it's doing. Yeah, it's not just good memories. We're actually pining for this era that in our minds we think existed, but actually didn't, And even if it did, hey, it's over now. There's nothing you can do about it, nothing I can do about it, nothing any of us can do about it. I mean, let's start with this nonsense here, Life is about living, and we need to start getting out of our bubble and living. And, and to not be that way, and to not think like that, but to actually also be more grateful for what we do have and to live in the moment. Let me sort of, go over everything I just said to wrap up this video, come to a conclusion. Basically, you have a lot of us, I'm talking about guys born in like the early to mid 2000s. So we spent most of our time growing up in the 2010 to 2019. What do you call that again? The teens. Let's call it the teens decade. And this is going to make, particularly guys in my generation, this will make some people very angry. But I need to say it bluntly. We need to move past, whether it be the mindset or the general, thought process of the time, whatever you want to call it. The visions we had and the memories and all that. We need to move past this bygone era of the teens. And we need to start actually looking forward and making things for ourselves. All right? That's my point. A lot of us really need to get out of that era, that we need to move on past the era, past the days, our younger days. We need to move past the years of, the late teens, and even more so the mid-teens, and especially back when we were little kids, and especially past the early teens. And, and in some cases, still stuck in the 2000s even. It's time to move on, guys. But anyways, that's my point. I've presented my case. Please comment what you think. Y'all take care.